Make life your bitch. That's how I see it. Nigga, make everything in life your bitch. And if it's not accordingly, then how are we living?
Before XXXTENTACION would blow up on SoundCloud and go on to chart Billboard with songs like F*** Love, Revenge, and Look at Me. Before collaborating with the likes of Kodak Black, Smoke Perp, Trippie Redd, Rich Chigga, Denzel Curry, and of course, Ski Mask the Slump God. X would get locked up several times, and despite the ugly charges, would grow a massive fan base from behind bars.
My life is not great. My life is real. I'm still a human. I'm still a normal person. I still have qualities about myself that I would like to change.
XXXTENTACION is perhaps the most controversial name in hip-hop today. X was voted the XXL's 2017 freshman class by an unprecedentedly loyal and powerful fanbase, which he first developed on SoundCloud with music produced with nothing more than a mic and a laptop. At the same time, X had a never-ending parade of beefs, legal issues, and controversies. And X's often violent present finds its roots in his childhood, filled with abuse, rejection, and juvenile detention. What's going on, guys? My name is Michael McCredden, documenting the life and career of XXXTENTACION. Prior to fame, here for you on Before They're Famous. Now, this isn't my first time making this video, so I'm really hoping I'm getting it right. I recently covered his buddy Ski Mask the Slump God. You guys requested that video, so I thought X could probably use an update. This is also extended. As always, be sure to let me know in the comments down below who you want me to document next. XXXTENTACION was born just say on January 23, 1998 in Plantation, Florida, just west of Fort Lauderdale. He was raised by his mother in the Pompano Beach and the North Lauderdale area. His dad wasn't around much because he was locked up, and his mother was often in no shape to take care of her boy. She mentally abused him. She would sometimes pass him off to others to raise him in her place. Despite this, she would also often compliment X on his looks and dress him up in Abercrombie and Fitch. He loved his mother to bits and always wanted her attention. A man she was dating put her hands on his mom when he was in the 6th or 7th grade, and he attacked the man, biting him while holding a shard of glass.
What's under my eye? It's numb. It says numb. Because I was going through a time in my life where I felt like I couldn't feel shit.
X was a serious scrapper throughout his childhood. While attending Margaret Middle School, he got in such a crazy brawl that he was kicked out of school. His mom kicked him out the house and he moved to Lauderhill to live with his grandma. He had little focus or plans for the future, but he did love music. X would not only listen to the most popular rappers like Lil Wayne, Tupac, and Biggie, but he would also listen to Nirvana, The Fray, 3 Days Grace, and Papa Roach. Taking note of his interest in music, his aunt put him in singing classes, and he spent some time learning the guitar and piano. He also took karate classes and is a big fan of the UFC. He must take notes because for a guy who's only 5'6" and 120 pounds, this kid can fight. Brawling would be a problem throughout his life, and he got kicked out of at least one other school. At one point, he was put into a behavioral correctional spot known as the Sharing House and spent 9 months in a boot camp.
Whoever I beat up, I'm sorry. You feel me? I'm pussy now. I gotta be pussy because I got money.
His formative years weren't all bad news. The kid was swimming in women. He was popular on Tumblr and Facebook and had a line of girls he could get with.
I love fucking females.
Outside of music, chicks, and fighting, he did have one other hobby: breaking into homes and robbing them. In his teens, he racked up a slew of charges, including armed robbery, possession of a firearm, resisting arrest, possession of narcotics. The list goes on and on.
Wow. Well, that's not really BS stuff. That's armed robbery is a real crime. Hello?
His life was rough and tough. He was the target of drive-bys and took a bullet in his shoulder. Music became the only consistent interest in his life and his only hope for a better future. He dropped his first song, Vice City, in March of 2014 before getting sent to a youth detention center for a year on gun possession charges. At the time, he had a big following on Tumblr and Facebook, but that would fall off while he was locked away. The upside while he was in prison? Well, he found a best friend in Ski Mask the Slump God.
Bro, I met him in fucking jail.
On the downside, well, he nearly murdered a man while inside. X's cellmate apparently took a liking to him, never taking his eyes off him. Even in the shower? Yeah. X states that he has no problem with people of any sexuality, but when the man crossed the line, X snapped and attacked him, cracking his head open, and then he started strangling the man. The guard stepped in and X is thankful that they did because he swears he would have killed the man. His cellmate ended up in ER and X was sent to the hole. Now let's get back to him and Ski Mask. The two had a strong bond, and when X told him he had been making music, Ski Mask wanted in, so they began discussing their future post-prison as rappers. When they got out, they were focused, and after they dropped their track X began picking up a fan base once again. Distorted sound created with minimal equipment mixed with his taste for diverse styles of music quickly began bringing in a huge number for his SoundCloud account. Today tracks like Skin, Teeth, Riot, Tummy Tuck, and I Love It When They Run all clock in millions of plays. But while his career was on the rise, X would have to contend with more legal trouble. In July of 2016, X was arrested on charges of robbery and assault with a deadly weapon. You gotta imagine that he might have been a little bit worried that his career would die out a second time with him unable to make music, but the complete opposite thing happened. Word of his incarceration drew more attention to his music and his artistry. The hashtag FreeX would be used widely online, and his rare interviews like his sit down with the No Jumper would clock in millions of views.
I got this thing that I call a dagger dick. You can call me Young Dagger Dick, you feel me?
Skinny at the end and really big.
Exactly!
X posted bail set at $10,000, but it wouldn't be long before he would be back behind bars. On October 8, 2016, he was arrested again, this time charged with aggravated battery of a pregnant woman, domestic battery by strangulation, false imprisonment, and witness tampering. While in jail, X would get mixed into the beef brewing between Ski Mask the Slump God and Rob Stone. I've talked more about that in the Before They Were Famous video on Ski Mask and Rob, so if you don't know what I'm talking about, be sure to check out those videos. Another beef X began in jail was with Drake. On January 28, 2017, Drake previewed a track called KMT, which fans believe was a ripoff of X's breakout song Look At Me. At the time, X wasn't too hard on Drake, telling XXL, if Drake is gonna take the flow, and I don't know if he legitimately did, but if that is the situation, at least reach out to a dude, help a dude out in this situation. But after his release from jail, the beef with Drake would escalate. X made bail and would be out of jail on March 26, 2017, but still on probation for his robbery charges. In an interview, he called Drake a bitch and said he felt that KMT was disrespecting him. The following day on Twitter, he posted pictures of Drake's mom, saying she could get it. Drake, of course, denied that he stole X's flow, and at the time of this recording, the beef appears to be ongoing. Following his release from jail, X would have a series of concerts that would turn bloody, beginning with a surprise concert held on April 7th in Miami. With a low admission price of just $5, the venue was filled up before he arrived. When he started performing, a riot broke out, which had to be put down by the police. During a performance in San Diego, X was knocked unconscious by an alleged associate of Rob Stone. A few days later, Rob released a diss track aimed at him called X Extra Credit. XX Extra Credit. In June of 2017, X punched an audience member during a concert in Salt Lake City, Utah, according to him, in self-defense. Then a few days later, X was scheduled to perform in Chicago, but cancelled last minute. As a result, hundreds of fans flooded the streets and nearly started a riot. But despite the violence at his concerts, his aggressive feuds with other rappers, and his ongoing legal issues, his fans stayed loyal, enough to secure him the 10th spot on XXL's 2017 freshman class list.
My name is XXXTENTACION, and I am a 2017 XXL freshman.
On August 25, 2017, X released his debut studio album, 17, which entered the Billboard 200 chart at number 2, and hit number 1 on the rap and hip-hop charts. Following the release of the album, X held a free concert in Tampa on September 2nd. Over 3,000 people showed up to the venue, which was only large enough for 750 people. The venue canceled the concert over safety concerns. The disappointed fans gathered outside until the crowd was dispersed by the police.
Oh, there's the cops right there. There's the cops right there.
Oh, they got tear gas.
They tear gas him for real.
His trial for the domestic abuse charges is scheduled for October of 2017. If convicted, he can face serious time in prison. But no matter how the trial goes, his image and reputation were once again at risk of being tried in the court of public perception. In September of 2017, Pitchfork obtained a transcript of X's alleged victim's deposition and published a grim timeline of the relationship, at least from the reported victim's perspective. According to her deposition, X convinced her to leave her boyfriend to move in with him in late May of 2016. 2 weeks later, she claimed the abuse began, with X breaking her phone and slapping her. Other more salacious accusations including X threatening to penetrate her with a barbecue implement, beating her with plastic hangers until they broke, locking her in a room for 2 days, threatening to murder her on a nearly daily basis, threatening to cut her tongue, putting a knife to her throat, and repeatedly slapping, punching, elbowing, clocking, choking, headbutting, and tackling her. All that. And some of these things she claims occurred while she was pregnant. The alleged victim snuck out of X's home around 2 a.m. on October 8, 2016 and contacted her ex-boyfriend's mother, who drove her to the Miami Beach police station. Now, of course, all of this is just one side of the story. X has denied the charges in several interviews and pled not guilty. In a recorded phone call that appeared on YouTube in October of 2016, he not only said that she was assaulted by someone else, but also claimed to have evidence that she was not pregnant.
And by the way, for all you dumb fuck-ass niggas that thought this stupid bitch was pregnant, I got the paperwork signifying that she wasn't pregnant. So when I get out, I'm fucking all y'all little sisters in the fucking throat hole.
Regardless, the shocking details the alleged victim has shared in her deposition continue to plague the young rapper. After the Pitchfork article dropped, he took to Instagram to say, "I am not what they make me out to be. You were informed. Do not be blind." He would later continue to post about the topic between September 11th and 12th, in part writing, "I will not have fabricated stories pushed on me and have people trying to make me submissive off some shit I ain't do. I'm good." He would go on to say via video post, "Everybody that called me a domestic abuser, I'm a fine domestically abused, y'all sisters pussy from the back. If you want your pussy domestically abused, hit my line. X, I would like you to leave my sister alone, just for the record." Since then, X has gone on to delete everything off of his Instagram page, except for one picture of him sporting a brand new look. He's dyed his dreads gray and is sporting a new forehead tattoo of a tree. Also, he shaved off his eyebrows.
Isn't it clear I don't give a fuck? If you feel as if your physical identity has to be the same as everyone else's to be socially acceptable, you're stupid. Be yourself.
As for the rest of the story, well, we'll have to wait and see because this is before they're famous, both updated and extended. My name is Michael McCrudden. Thanks for checking out this video. Be sure to let me know who you want me to document in the comments down below. See you guys in another video. Boom!
Humans fear what they don't understand. Always and forever.
Alright, we're doing XXXTENTACION.
That's not right.